Hey guys, it's Kim here with Verily Fiber Fun. Thanks for joining me on part 2 of all the ways I could think of to spin a blended top. Today we are spinning across the top, which is typically how people will spin a self-striping colorway, or when they want a colorway to have stripes, color blocks. Anyway, this is the last method I would consider when approaching this type of fiber blend, because typically when you combine all the different colors together into the yarn, you're going to end up with brown, or a lot of people call mud. And I don't really want mud. However, I was curious, how was this going to work out? So while I'm getting the wheel set up, if you are a new viewer, welcome to my channel, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss new videos as they come out. And as always, leave your comments, questions, and suggestions down in the comment section below. All right, here I am showing you how when you're spinning across the top and you forget to move your fiber, it pulls continuously from the same place, and you just break off your fiber and reattach where it's longer and keep going. So while I'm spinning this, I will show you a few different tips and tricks that I used. And here I'm about to show you a close-up of what my thumb is doing, because the secret to spinning across the top is the fiber hand thumb. So where your thumb is where you're going to be drafting from. And when I learned this, I thought, it can't possibly be true. Like that can't be the rule. But it is. There are a few exceptions, but typically wherever your thumb is where you're going to be drafting from. So here you can see that I'm drafting directly from the tip of my thumb there that's sitting on the fiber. And as I move to a different spot, my thumb goes there too. It is the weirdest thing, but it works. So when you're holding the fiber in your hand and you're trying to draft across the top and you're fairly new to this method, use your thumb, your fiber hand thumb, to guide where you're drafting from. Some people can easily go back and forth across the top as they're spinning. I can't. I can only go one direction. So I get to the end of the fiber in my hand. Here's a really good view of that thumb guiding the fibers. So as I get to the end of the fiber in my hand, I spin from the left side to the right side, and then I flip it over and I spin back across in the same direction. I have tried and tried and tried to guide it back the other way, and it didn't work out. So it doesn't do. And I'm not sure why that is. There's something about how I spin and how I hold the fiber, I believe, but I really don't know. Anyways, for a new person, or if you're new to this method, or you find that the whole chunk of fiber is a bit too much, strip it down and focus on learning this method with less fiber in your hand to fight with. It's so much easier and you get the same results. So why not? Instead of spinning across a huge chunk of fiber, you're spinning back and forth across a small chunk of fiber. A million times easier to manage, and I do prefer the smaller amount of fiber. Also, sometimes spreading the fiber out sideways so that it's wider and thinner can really help, but I find when I do that, it really causes me to spin in chunks instead of steadily moving across the fiber. So I no longer spread my fibers out when I want to spin across the top. So I'm liking this angle where you can see what I'm doing and you can see the colors on the bobbin. The colors on the bobbin are not very well defined, But part of that's because the bobbin's moving. Part of that is because there is no defined blocks of color, because the little bits of color I'm spinning are so short as I move across the top that it's not going to make stripes. It's going to make a very heathered type, I guess heathered type yarn. And the colors are going to blend more. They're going to appear visually from a distance to be more of a homogeneous color rather than individual colors, which is why I would prefer to use a different method for this fiber. However, this would have made the prettiest singles. If you wanted to spin a blended top like this and keep it as a singles, it would be the most gorgeous singles ever. So pretty. So we are almost to the end of the fiber. I am only spinning small samples to see which method I prefer for a project. And I am taking you guys along on my journey, spinning enough of each method to get a nice swatch when I'm done. So hopefully in the last video I will have some swatches to show you, and I will have a comparison. You know, I can compare the different yarns and everything. No promises on that, and no promises on how soon that will come, because this is going to be a fairly large series and I have very little brain power to work on voiceovers. Anyway, we are done with the spinning and now it is time for plying. So the first thing that I'm doing is removing the break band from the bobbin. And like last video wasn't bad enough, I decided to do another Indian playing bracelet. And this time I'm not taking it out of the flyer, I am taking it straight off the bobbin. So it's easier to turn the wheel sideways so that the bobbin can move freely and the yarn, excuse me, the yarn is coming off like it's supposed to. You know, and here I am getting really confused. What am I doing? Which way am I going? Oh, the single broke. That's what happened. And instead of trying to tie on and keep going, I thought I would start a new bracelet and try again. But then I changed my mind. I was like, no, I'm going to go ahead and attach the two ends of the single together and keep going. And this ended up causing me major trouble. So I don't recommend doing your plying bracelet in sections like this. It doesn't really work that well. I am drinking my morning cup of tea while I'm doing this. Anyway, I'm showing you how I'm at the end. I pull it completely off the leader. And then, well, for some reason, I'm having trouble getting my finger out. That's why I wind these where my finger can bend naturally instead of pulling backwards up the back of my hand. That can be very painful. So I get started plying like I normally would, and everything works great. Very briefly. So of course the first thing to do is put the break band back on, and I do end up changing the whorl on my, oh my goodness, my brain. I do end up going up a size on the whorl to slow down the amount of twist that's going in, because it is set too small, too high a speed. I don't know that that makes any sense to you, but hopefully you can muddle through that and figure it out. So I did put the, no I didn't, I don't remember if I put the two ends through the loop or if I just let them attach to the loop. Whatever. Anywho, here I have the beginning of a mess, and you see that in slow motion came off my wrist. The whole first bracelet came off my wrist, and now it is a big tangled mess that I have to fight with for the next 10 minutes. or 20 minutes or however long it took. So I'm going to cut out a good portion of that so you don't have to suffer through my attempts to get it all untangled, or rather, I will simply speed it up. I do end up breaking my single, both of them, because the tangled mess was just too much. I couldn't figure it out, and there I go, breaking them both. Like, okay, it's just not working out. And then I untangle and reattach by layering new end between two ends. And then I have to do that again because, like a dummy, I broke the singles in the same spot. So a little bit of a thicker area there, but that's okay. I do want to make sure I nestle the new end into the old ones before I allow the twist to get in there. And it doesn't work perfectly, and I just, at this point, didn't care. So I keep going, and now that I'm through that section, everything is going great. But I'm not liking how I have yet again left it on my left wrist, and I just switched the whole applying bracelet carefully to my right wrist. It's not a loop of fiber, so it can easily come undone. And there's the knot where I had initially broken the single, so remove the knot and reattach and everything's fine. See, I should have done this to begin with. This is the sort of fiber, this is merino, so you could easily have, spit felted that together, but I didn't, so it is what it is. Now that I have the applying bracelet on my right hand, which is my fiber supply hand, and my left hand is allowed to do what it does best, manage the twist, everything goes smoothly, and this is so much easier, so much better. I am way happier. I'm enjoying the process more. So, peeps, don't try to fight what your body naturally prefers to do. I mean, it's one thing to try to become ambidextrous if you really want to, but like, if you just want to enjoy what you're doing, let your dominant hand be your dominant hand. I mean, it's not that serious, and sometimes it's just not worth the battle. So, yeah. Anyways, now that the applying is super easy and this video is getting quite long, I'm going to cut to the end here and show you the finished yarn in comparison with the first one. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys!